Hey, what's up, everybody? I know I'm at like a different camera angle just because I was too lazy to like pull out my table and everything, and me and AJ kind of decided that this looked better. But welcome to a very special video on the On the Talkinator channel. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with.
I'm the co-host, Alan Talent, and this is our video memoriam to one of our favorite protagonists in all of TV,
Yeah,
Walter White.
and this is a question that we can that a lot of people ask that we can answer. Did Walter White win or lose?
And it's very
And
subjective, but we're going to give our opinions on the matter.
yeah, like we could just easily answer the question right now, and just say, "See you later, guys." End the video. But
Yeah,
we're not.
we'll drag it out a little, make it an actual video to watch.
Yeah, because we were gonna talk about this in the Breaking Bad like season finale, but we forgot, and then we realized like, hey, this has to be its own video because it would have taken away from that video if we did.
Exactly.
Um,
And this really just can be its own video.
yeah,
It
and
deserves it,
this is exciting because this is like this is kind of like a first like in a way like fan theory video we're kind of doing in a way.
Right.
I know it
Like
seems
one of
like
our first non-review segments for Breaking Bad.
yeah, we're gonna do a lot of these. Not like in the future. We're just doing this one now because we've kind of recently watched Breaking Bad and we kind of want to officially like kind of close the chapter.
We'll be doing something similar for Death Note regarding Ellen Light, but we had planned on doing Walter White a while ago, so we want to finally do it after months of waiting.
Yeah, we're also gonna do Hank, and then we're gonna do like to really officially close the chapter of both Death Note and Breaking Bad. We're gonna do a video comparing and contrasting the shows. But let's talk about good old Walter White. Probably, actually, he is one of the best TV characters in the history of television. Somebody that had like the best character change throughout any series. We could also talk about like there's probably we haven't seen these shows like this, or at least both of us haven't. We could talk about that with Dexter, Walking Dead with certain characters, Game of Thrones, but I mean, obviously, I'm just talking out of my ass here, it seems like, but I feel like Walter White just goes through probably like the most. Like, he's probably like the best example of like someone that went from like point A in a show from season one all the way to the end. Like, he's a completely different person, completely different character.
Exactly. People even say it's Walter White and Heisenberg. They're two different people.
Yeah.
I don't think they're quite two different people, but yeah, I understand what people saying. Like, he's almost completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, exactly. So how we're gonna do this is, we're gonna like talk about stuff from. This isn't gonna be like the whole series because then we'd be here for like 24 hours and we got shit to do, so we can't do that.
We have lives. We gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'd be here and it wouldn't get the point across. We're mainly gonna talk about stuff from like season one, break up bits and pieces of like seasons 2 through 4, and then like really this kind of factors into seasons 1 and 5 because that's like where he had
the beginning and the end, like how he was in the beginning. Did he accomplish his goals, and how did he change?
Yeah. So let's talk about Walter White. So obviously season 1, I like to talk about how season 1 was all about Walter, like showing us what his life was kind of like before, breaking into the meth business and everything.
Season 1 is the tamest out of the seasons. It's Walter first, just stepping his toes.
Yeah.
In the underworld, and you can tell he's not, and he's not a hardened criminal or anything. He's very much the dorky chemistry teacher.
I think too, if you want to watch any episode, like episode 1 is the perfect one because it really shows Walter how his life just really sucks. Like he's not appreciated by anyone in his classes. They really show that when it has when he's talking, no one's paying attention to him and everyone just sees chemistry as because we're high school students. We just kind of don't really see any value in it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. I remember when I took chemistry last year, I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
So, I can relate.
And then, you have I feel like too, like this is a scene that doesn't get talked about. Like he like yells at a kid for like not paying attention, and then like this really got at Walt a little bit. Like he ended up washing his car like later on, in the like the
And the
next
kid was
scene.
like making fun of him, like taking pictures of him.
Yeah.
So like, and that's another thing. Walter works two jobs that he like doesn't really like,
Yeah.
or he's like pushed around a lot at.
Yeah. And then he's 50 years old. It's his birthday, and you get to really see like he's basically had no excitement in his life. And Hank even tells him, which we're gonna talk about this again in the Hank video, because this was the worst thing Hank could have ever said. Get some excitement in your life. He said it jokingly, but Hank, this is sometimes why you don't make these jokes.
Yeah, because it turns out your brother-in-law is a sociopath.
And you know, so that's like kind of his losses in a way. Like he went through like even like you can even tell like if you go watch like the first episode and stuff in the first season, like Walt and Skyler's relationship. We talk about how it deteriorated afterwards. Like you could see like the relationship was kind of like not really very good in a way, like in the first episode.
Like really, like the reason they're together is because they have two kids, or
yeah,
you know, a kid, and at this point she's pregnant with another one.
Yeah,
actually, Walter Jr. being disabled and like most likely not having trouble finding work when he's older, and you know them having another kid on the way that they didn't plan on. This is another reason why Walter joined the meth business, because he knew he wouldn't have enough money to support his family.
So then we have like victory number one, we like to call it, because we said this had to be the first thing we talked about because it sets up the whole show. And what a weird thing that this is a victory. Walt getting cancer, which happens about like 30 minutes into the whole show. Maybe not even like
a whole reason for joining, you know, like Underworld in the first place.
Yeah, and normally when people get cancer, they're in shock, they're depressed, they're kind of like, you know, don't really know what to do next. You know, we know some family members and stuff where that's happened to. Like they've had all these plans, and then all of a sudden, they get cancer, and then it's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, well, we have a few people in our family who have cancer, so we know it's a very difficult thing.
Yeah, but the best part about this, at least in the Breaking Bad's case, Walter White accepted it, and it seemed like it motivated him to finally get some excitement in his life.
Like as soon as he finds out he has cancer, he's shocked at first, but like he seems rather calm.
Yeah.
First thing he does is like violently quit his job, tell his boss to like go fuck himself.
Yeah, basically.
Like he like basically breaks his chains. Like he stops being scared of everything and like underachieving. He decides, I'm gonna actually like do something with what time I have left.
So, and without this, like the whole Breaking Bad series isn't a thing.
And I think it's also important to note, before the series, Walter had quit gray matter, and I think we don't learn about this until season 5, but like it is such a big thing, like for the whole show, like explaining Walt and what he does.
Yeah.
He only got like a couple grand for, you know, buying out, but the company ended up being worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So Walt has basically been underachieving his whole life, despite how great potential he has. He helped get research for something that won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah. And they even like talk about too, like Walt feels like too, like we're gonna try this, like Walt is finally happy, like this is another victory, like him getting into the meth business. He finally gets to make like his own decisions in life, because Walt says this like when, you know, doing like the pillow scene, like everything's been decided for him, like finally for once he gets to just make his own decisions, like in the meth business.
And he's finally the best at something. Like Jesse and like everyone else realizes how great he is at cooking meth. Like he's finally like being recognized for his greatness.
Yeah, because like no one knows about his contributions in gray matter. He's a great chemistry teacher, but like everyone is gonna be thinking like, why are you a high school chemistry teacher? You're overqualified for this. Like no one will think about him but like that. And obviously like him working at a car wash is kind of like laughable too. So Imagine he was like the best car wash washer, and like no one ever, he just didn't he didn't accept that either. He's like, I don't want to be known as the best person that
I
washes
mean, to be
cars.
fair,
Like,
you want to be known as the best car wash person.
yeah. Um. So that's those are two victories right there. Like he's getting recognized because like he's the best meth cook ever, like in the world.
Yeah.
And maybe it caused a zombie apocalypse. It's so good.
Oh yeah, that theory. I haven't even
Well,
seen Walking Dead, and I know it's bullshit.
You know what? Both of these you know why? Because Fear the Walking Dead went to Albuquerque, and if it was the same world, we would
Did
have
they actually
seen.
go to Albuquerque?
Well, they went in New Mexico, so it was
Okay, that's pretty cool.
close to it. We would have seen Jesse. We would have seen all these other people. So don't stop throwing those theories in my face because it's not true. So, well,
I can't wait to start Walking Dead just so I can actually understand any of that.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are some victories for Walt. And another victory for Walt, because this also ties in, is he got to build a relationship, like a real father and son relationship with Jesse Pinkman.
And that's not to say Walt didn't love, Walter Jr., but like they didn't like really have like a bond.
Yeah, like, you get the sense that like, and it's not Walt, it's Eisenberg and Jesse that have the bond.
Yeah, I think someone in a comment like on a YouTube video said like Junior was Walt's son and like Jesse was Heisenberg's, and I think that's like the best way to put it.
And there's this great video that really shows like the relationship that Walter and Jesse have, like throughout the show. Like him looking at like an old high school paper, like Walt graded, and even said like apply yourself. And you really get to see them like build this great bond. Like it doesn't obviously build right away, but it builds, throughout the series. You want to kind of talk about that? So that since I've been kind of doing a lot of the talking.
Yeah, sure. Like Walt let Jane die in big part to like save Jesse. Walt, there are so many times where he should have killed Jesse or left him alone, but he didn't. So many times where Gus wanted to kill Walt, but Jesse wouldn't let him. Yeah. So they're very loyal to each other. They definitely care about each other. Jesse was the only person to get Walter a birthday gift when he turned 51.
Yep.
And there have been times where like Walt even calls Jesse son. So it's like they clearly very much care about each other.
I think a big one too we got to talk about too, like when this is a random scene I remember, like when Jesse got like done like clean, like going to the clinic and stuff, like it was Walt that picked him up from it. Like typically a parent picks you up, and Walt was the parent that picked him up.
Yeah.
Because even Jesse too, like he really like didn't have like much parents either, because they kind of explore this, like his parents want nothing to do with Jesse because he's like been such a fuck up in life kind of now in a way too.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like Walt can see past his fuck ups and realize that Jesse is like a really smart person.
Yeah.
Like Walt is very toxic with Jesse, like they're clearly not like a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Like I even like the moments like, where you see them like fighting and stuff, but they always kind of make up, which we'll get into that.
Yeah, Jesse's like pretty violent towards Walt. Walt's always like manipulating Jesse, so it's clearly not. That's another reason why Walt could have can be considered a loss, because he kind of ruined his relationship with Jesse.
Let's talk about the big moment he ruined it. Poisoning Brock.
Yeah.
Now let's play devil's advocate for a second. Because we'll just say this: it wasn't the right thing to do, but Walt basically had no choice but to poison Brock in a way.
Like he had to get Jesse on his side.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this. It's unrelated, but because I can say it now because I've seen it. That's why I think Gus kind of noticed something was off, like when he went to his car in a way, because when he heard that Brock got poisoned, he realized, hey, I didn't poison this kid. Like something's off right here. Like, because I haven't been able to talk about it. So, getting Jesse on his side like saved both their lives, because Walt and Jesse would have died if Gus had just killed Walt. Just Jesse would have probably lived a little longer. It was just going to be a matter of time before Gus killed Jesse, probably.
Yeah, because it's like Jesse would never be able to get out of the game.
Yeah.
And if he ever did, then Gus would kill him.
And but yeah, also poisoned Brock ruined Walt and Jesse's relationship, like, forever. Like, I really liked that moment when Jesse found out about it, and it was very sad in a way, like, seeing that, we talked about it in the reviews and stuff, like, that relationship really disintegrate, because,
Jesse was super emotional when it happened. Like, he was crying, like, acting like a complete lunatic. He
yeah,
beat the shit out of Saul, and he, like, poured gasoline all over Walt's house. Like,
yeah,
super upset about it.
yeah,
Like, he
like,
trusted Walt, and, like, Walt just, like, spit in his face, basically.
yeah, and, it also leads to, like, another loss for Walt in a way. I know we're jumping out of order, but like because Jesse found out, because like once Hank found out Walt was Eisenberg, like he knew like he had like Hank wasn't going to be able to convict him because he basically like checkmated Hank to by making that bullshit video. Like there was no way Hank was going to be able to convict him, but because like Jesse found out, it allowed Hank and Jesse to work together, and basically, like Walt didn't stand a chance. Like his biggest ally, that was there for all this stuff, turned against him, and it ruined him in the end. He wasn't able to do any, like, no matter what Walt did, like, because he never would have thought Jesse would be the one like working against him, like to try
Yeah,
to turn
especially
him.
with Hank, considering, Hank and Jesse's history.
Yeah, so that's also a loss in a way too, because Hank would have never been able to like put the handcuffs on him and stuff too, like without you know
And if it wasn't for Jack's gang showing up, Walt would have gotten arrested, and that would have been his, that would have been his end.
yeah. And I don't think
If if the series ended with Walt getting arrested by Hank, or staying in the cabin in New Hampshire, or him calling the police and letting himself get arrested, it would have been like, yeah, Walt lost. But him coming back to Albuquerque for the final episode is like what makes it a bit more difficult.
yeah, exactly. But then there's other things that happen, other victories. Well, here's another loss that we can talk about. Walt, his relationship with his family is not the same, obviously, anymore.
Yeah, his
Want to
family
talk?
hates him.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Kind of tackle that one. Kind of talk maybe about the relationship beforehand and stuff, and then after everything happens.
Walt's relationship with his family was never great. Him and his wife didn't really get along that well, or like they weren't very lovey. Junior respected Walt a lot, but they weren't very close. And Walt even told Junior one day how there was only one real memory he has of his dad, and that's the day he died.
Yeah.
And Walt said he doesn't want his family to remember him that way. He even says that in the pillow talk scene where he says, "You guys will remember me if I got chemo as like this barely alive person."
Yep.
And in the end, his family remembers him as even worse. His son completely hates his guts, doesn't even want his money, and his daughter won't remember him at all. The only thing she'll know about him is that he's Heisenberg, this super evil criminal, and she'll never know that he was actually like a good dad deep down.
Mm-hmm. And
his wife, even though he made sure she was able to make a deal with the police, and that Hank's body was able to be found so he can have like a proper burial.
Yeah.
Like she is ruined, like socially. No one's gonna ever hire her. And like her relationship with Marie is ruined. Marie's a widow now.
Yeah.
He got Hank killed, basically.
Yeah. And even like him and Hank's were like him and Hank were always pretty close. Like they cared about each other a lot. And like once Hank found out Walt was Eisenberg, like that relationship just completely deteriorated. Like done.
They still obviously didn't like want each other to die. They still cared about each other deep down.
Yeah. I feel like Hank didn't really want to admit it, but like he still like cared about Walt. I just think too, like with Hank, like he was just so upset, like in shock, but like it was his brother-in-law that was Eisenberg and stuff.
Like Heisenberg has like fucked with Hank a lot,
Yeah, we should save that. We're gonna save this for the Hank video though, so that's all we'll say right now.
Although we will say though that like a small victory for Walt is like before Hank died, they got to reconcile a little bit.
Yeah, and that's
like at least end on like somewhat good terms.
Yeah, and that's like some other victories, like for Walt. Like even though, you know, like his family with like his relationship with his family is broken. Like at least like when they before he died and before like By the way, we forgot to say spoiler alert, but whatever.
I mean, this video we kind of figured it's
Yeah.
done.
Um, like, but before he died and before Hank died, like he at least mended fences with like people in his family. Like they left on good terms, like somewhat good terms in a way. Like,
Yeah.
um,
I think it's also important to say that from like when Walt blew up Tuco's hideout to when he was cooking with Todd, even though Walt was constantly like under stress and like in the threat of death, Walt kind of liked it. He got that excitement.
yeah.
So like the last 2 years of Walt's life, he got to actually like live how he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He got to feel powerful.
Yeah, especially too if you really want to see like an example of him getting power, like go watch season 5, episode 8, because that's really a good.
Gliding all over. That is Walt at the height of his power.
Yeah.
Although a loss is though that eventually he started to not like what he was doing.
Yeah. And also a loss is
he lost that danger. So when he was just cooking whenever he wanted, he didn't really get a sense of that power.
Another loss, in a way, is him not getting out of the business sooner. Because if he had got out of the business like probably the first episode, it would have just been like, okay, he just had like a little bit of a blimp. But then he probably should have gotten out of it too, like at the end of season 2. It would have been a good time. Basically,
there are a lot of great times where Walt could have gotten out, but he didn't.
Yeah, and then by the time he finally was like officially done, it was just too little, too late. Like, so they and also another loss. This is kind of a joke, but leaving the book, gliding or that book.
That has Gale, yeah.
That's a big loss because that's kind of out of his control. Because why would he have thought like that Hank would pick up this book?
Yeah, while he was taking a shit at his house.
Yeah. But I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, like another decently like sized victory for him, like is he got to see like his daughter and like his kid one last time before like he died and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. The victories, in my opinion, definitely outweigh the losses.
Yeah.
Walt got to be powerful for a long time. He got to kill Gus.
Yeah.
He got the. It's like the first half of season 5 is like Walt living it up. Like Walt is like super happy with himself.
I think too, like him finally admitting that he, the reason that he got into the business is also a victory for him too, because he, it was just finally like him reconciling. Like, I mean, obviously he was just lying to himself about the whole reason he was doing it and stuff, and lying to Skylar. And I feel like had he not admitted it, he wouldn't have been able to see his kids one last time too.
Right. And the last episode is really just Walt trying to make up a little bit and like really like cementing that this is a victory. If it wasn't for the last episode, it'd be definitely a loss for Walter.
Yeah.
But he's able to provide for his kids and like kind of get revenge on Elliot and Gretchen by like now they're going to be terrified until they finally give Walter Jr. his money when he turns 18.
And that's also another. Now, obviously, it depends on what happens, but this is another victory. His family, even though they're not going to know it, is going to get his money. Like Walter Jr. will, Skylar will. However, whatever they do with this money, it depends on if it's a victory or a loss. Because
Junior he loves his breakfast. He might just drop all $2 million on breakfast. A lifetime.
Yeah. So that could be a loss right there. Another loss though is we talked about this, like Walter Jr. and Holly are going to be known as the kids of Eisenberg pretty much. So it's going to like make it tough for them to even go to college or instances like that too. Because like I know it seems weird, like maybe not Holly, but like Walter Jr., like if you're connected with a criminal, like people just kind of mark you down for that. They kind of like, will think this is the kid, this is the son of Eisenberg. It might be
Holly a little bit, and that's especially not Holly's fault because she was like a baby when all this happened.
But maybe it could also be like a decent victory in a way too, because like Walter Jr. will be like part of like the cool. I mean, he could get all into like all the cool parties and stuff too, which kind of isn't a victory though.
I think people will be like afraid of them actually, because like their dad was like this super criminal.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's like if your dad was Scarface, like you wouldn't want to fuck with them.
Yeah, true. Um, but
But even though his kids hate him, he was able to say goodbye to them one last time.
yeah,
Not really goodbye. He was able to hold his daughter one last time.
he was able to like
see Walter Jr. like from a distance.
Yeah.
He kind of accepted that like he messed up the relationship beyond repair.
Mm-hmm. But then we have the last scene, which is where the victory really comes in. The last 10 minutes, if it didn't happen, like would be more questionable whether Walt won or lost. Mm-hmm. Even though we're talking about like, you know, some pretty big victories and stuff. If you think about it, boy, he's got more victories than losses.
It's really like Hank dying and his family hating him and him like being like known as Heisenberg. Like that definitely like turned him into a loss. Like he was on win streak and then all this shit just crashed down on him.
Yeah. If you really want to watch like a lost episode for Walt, go watch Ozymandias. I got it right this time, Ozymandias.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Because that's like when like that episode. Obviously, like we've explained who he is, but like that episode, if that didn't happen, like you know, that's like when all the losses just came crashing down, like right on Walt.
And a really important thing that a lot of people overlook is the months he spent in New Hampshire. He was just like kind of pathetic, you know. He was like begging the guy to stay with him for an hour. Mm-hmm. Like he was because he was so lonely.
Yeah, he was so weak. Like he had to wear his wedding ring on his like on his like shoulders, like on as a necklace. His
fingers got so skinny.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't talk about that because we talked about this. The cancer ended up becoming a loss because the cancer finally just took over him in a way.
Yeah, like it was gone for a while, but it came back and it got him killed in a way.
Yeah.
Not in the way he would have thought, but it did. He would have basically died, like if he didn't get shot with the ricochet.
Yeah, because he
was on death. Like he went into the last episode knowing he would die.
Yeah, because like you know, if you think about it too, he was probably still getting chemo, but like not probably the really good chemo, because obviously like it's tough to get chemo like if you're just.
The guy even said like, "I'll hopefully this will go better next time," and I'll like because I know where the vein is. So like he's giving Walt treatment, but like he's clearly not good at it.
Yeah, so like Walt obviously wasn't getting like good enough chemo to like treat the cancer and stuff too. So
yeah, just enough to like stave off death.
But then here comes the victories. And this like I said, the last 10 minutes makes it a victory. So obviously we're gonna talk about it again. You know, we see him pull up. And we should just talk about, like, he was flat out going to kill Jesse, you know, before he knew, like, that Jesse was a meth slave. He was going to kill Jesse, and nothing was going to convince him otherwise until he saw what Jesse was like.
Yeah. At the last second, he decides, like, he'll save him.
Yeah.
Tackles him, and like, everyone thinks he's, like, attacking Jesse, but really he activates the gun in his car and kills all the white supremacist people in the building,
except for Todd and Jack, because you know they're not. Jack
was like gonna die anyway, but Todd was like trying to like get Walt off of Jesse, so he was low enough to not get hit.
Yeah, and this is and then obviously like he kills them all, and that's a victory for Walt.
And he poisoned
Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia with ricin earlier, and that was like the last kill he got. He got the caller and let her know that she was gonna die. And
I feel like that's also, I mean, another great like victor like scene.
Well,
like
he got to like be powerful one last time. You know, he
got
the power he wanted.
He got to be Eisenberg one last time. You know, that's another victory though. He freed Jesse from slavery, pretty much.
Yeah, like they were not on good terms at the end, but they were better terms than how they left off.
Yeah, like you.
So that's pretty much how the whole last episode went. Walt couldn't completely fix things, but he made things a little bit better.
And I like that. Like we talked about this. Like if like that last episode of Breaking Bad, it's a satisfying ending, but it's not a good ending. Like, it couldn't be a good ending either. If it was a good ending, it wouldn't make any sense at all, because Walt and Jesse and everyone did so much shit. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Like, Walt's family is going to get his money, and he
Yeah.
got to see them one last time, but they still hate him.
yeah,
He got to free Jesse, and they're like, they're not like out to kill each other anymore, but they're like,
yeah.
they're not really like, they don't have that father-son relationship they had in like season 4 and 5.
I feel like too, it's kind of cool. Like, I think too, like Jesse knew Walt was gonna die anyway, so that's why he just didn't put the bullet in it himself, because he clearly saw, like, he was gonna die anyways.
And he
But
also didn't want to like give Walt what he wanted, because
yeah,
Walt, like what happened with Skyler, he admits that like this is what he wants. Oh, but before we get to that, he gets to kill Jack the same way he killed Hank, like mid-sentence, bullet to the head.
and it shows too, like, another victory is even like Walt knows his family's gonna get his money anyways, but now he finally doesn't care about his money anymore. Like, Jack's about to
Like,
tell him
Jack
where it
gives
is.
him the opportunity to get the rest of his money back, and he doesn't care. He just shoots him. He's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And
Now
he
let's talk
sees Jesse kill Todd in the same way Walt had killed Crazy 8.
Yeah.
Like, the last kill Jesse got is like mirrors the first kill Walt got.
So it's kind of like that father rubbing off on his son type of thing too.
Yeah. And then we get the final confrontation.
Yeah, I'll talk about
Jesse
that.
and Walt. Yeah, you can talk about it.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to say like the final victory, but
yeah, the confrontation. It's a victory, I'd say.
Yeah, like Walt, like before Jesse leaves and everything, like for freedom, they kind of nod at each other, showing that, like, they're good in a way. Like, they're not good, but they've.
Well, I was gonna say, when Jesse's holding the gun at Walt, like, Walt planned on getting shot with Jesse and Jack and everyone. Like, he was just gonna press the button, they were all gonna get lit up.
Yeah.
So Walt has the gun, and he could have killed Jesse, but he decides to pass the gun over to him. And he thought Jesse was gonna kill him. Like, he wanted Jesse to kill him. And Jesse even made him admit that, yeah, he wanted Jesse to kill him. But Jesse got to cut his strings. He got to stop just being manipulated by Walt, and he just told him, do it yourself, because he knew Walt was gonna die anyway, because he saw the blood.
I feel like that's kind of a loss for Walt, though, because
yeah, in a way, he got he's not, he doesn't have any control over Jesse, but I think that's what he wanted,
Yeah,
he
true.
realized he fucked with Jesse too much, and he wanted to make it right.
Yeah. So that's a victory. But I'll talk about the last scene, because that's a big victory.
Yeah.
So this scene is really what brings it home as a victory in a way. You see Walt buy all the meth lab equipment that Todd and stuff were using, and he finally dies, but he dies like with a little smirk on his face, like happy that he got to die by doing what he loved and by the equipment that he loved.
His baby blue.
Yeah, and that really makes it a victory because, like I said, we talked about this before. If this was season 1 Walt, this would have been a loss because his family hates him and everything. But because Walt went through this change,
his priorities got screwed up. If his priorities were in the right place, like a normal person, this would be a loss. But Walt wasn't really a normal person after all this, so this is more a victory for him.
I think too, like a famous scene in the show when you watch back now is Walt does the speech on the first day of school about chemistry and how it's changed and matter and stuff like that. If you really watch that speech, then watch
talking about Walt,
it's really talking about Walt, everything that he goes through this whole show. And I think that makes it cool. And this is where let's do the final verdict. You want to start it off? Did Walt win or did Walt lose?
Walt won, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say so. But it's just barely a victory. I know we talked about a lot of wins, but his losses, even though they're kind of not as much.
They're very big losses.
Yeah, but the final 10 minutes really brought it home that he had a victory.
Yeah. I even said to Owen, when we were watching it, these are my favorite anything in Breaking Bad, the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I would agree with that. What we're gonna do. I think one day we'll do like a top like 10 or 5 Breaking Bad scenes. Just not today, and not anytime soon.
It's 11 o'clock at night. We've got to work tomorrow, so.
Yeah. So this was actually this. I mean, this video. I thought this video would be pretty fun to do, but this was a hell of a lot of fun. Like, you know.
Oh yeah, this is great. I love talking about Breaking Bad again.
Yeah, because it's we haven't. Like I said, we haven't talked about it in a few weeks. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the video. You guys are welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments. Did Walt win or lose? I have a feeling we're gonna get those troll comments that said like he lost, and they won't give like any reasons why he lost. It'll just say like, it'll just be like he got the L, and then like not give.
Walt
like,
drawed. He didn't win or lose. It was a draw.
Yeah, like he did so much shit. It can't be a win, a loss, or a draw. I mean, wait, it can't be a draw. It's got to be a win. It's got to be a loss. Like,
yeah, like it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, want to plug?
Let's do it. Why don't you start it off because you got less stuff to plug.
Yeah, check out my channel, AJ Talent. Now I actually have like internet at my house. I'll be showing off my cap and gown. I wore my graduation and like my high school diploma because I graduated 2 days ago.
And possibly, if you lost the wrestling predictions, you got to do.
I got to do reasons why Breaking Bad is the worst show ever. Since we're talking about how great Walter White is, might as well talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'll be uploading a couple other like small things pretty soon.
You should review Detective Pikachu because we can't. That's kind of
like.
Yeah,
we saw that with my little brother because it was his birthday gift.
Yeah. Because we kind of can't really talk about that because I know enough about Pokemon, but like my viewpoints wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I actually like grew up with it and stuff.
Yeah.
We played the games.
Yeah, but like like I'd have to watch the shows more and stuff to kind of really review it and stuff.
Yeah,
so
maybe that'll be our next show, Pokemon. It's already over 1,000 episodes, so good luck with that.
I mean, obviously we can break it up.
Oh,
but yeah, let's talk. I'll talk about it's really all stuff at this point, but so yeah, you check out more stuff on the On the Talkinator channel. We're gonna do the same video, but with Hank. We're gonna do one called "Did Hank Win or Lose?" Because I was thinking about it. Like, hey, Hank was such a big part of the show too. Like, he kind of needs one if he won or lost because he had a lot of. He kind of went through like somewhat the same journey, not the same journey, but like
like an opposite. He was like a parallel to Walt. Yeah.
So we kind of have to do one about Hank, and then also this is gonna check out CM Brothers. We're gonna talk about we're gonna do the same video except we're gonna say did Light win or lose?
Who won, Light or L?
Yeah, who won, Light or L? Which I'm actually looking forward to that video. That video is gonna be very complex.
Yeah, because like we already kind of knew our opinions on Walt and Hank. L and Light is a bit more difficult. Yeah.
And especially, too, like, we're doing 2 different people in that one, so.
Yeah.
But then to really close the chapter on, Breaking Bad and Death Note, we're going to do a video on this channel and CM Brothers comparing and contrasting Breaking Bad and Death Note, because.
Yeah. Like, these are our 2 big projects. Kind of close the book on that.
Yeah.
And after those, look forward to our review of Red vs. Blue Season 2.
Yeah. And then, obviously like some SpongeBob reviews, Family Guy.
Yeah, check out our channel update if you want like all that stuff.
Yeah. Because we're basically just doing it again. So that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we will talk to you guys probably Sunday.